Entry-level hiring in AI-exposed white-collar jobs has crashed 25% since ChatGPT launched. Youth unemployment among college graduates just hit multi-decade highs across the richest economies on Earth. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The most educated generation in human history is becoming the working poor. This isn't a recession. It's a structural rewrite of who gets to climb the ladder. And AI just kicked the bottom rungs off. Start with the youngest workers, because that's where the floor caved in first. Look at youth unemployment across the G7 plus Korea and Australia. From 2005 to 2019, the trend was clear. After the financial crisis pain, every major economy was grinding youth unemployment down. Then, 2023 happens. ChatGPT goes mainstream. Companies freeze entry-level hiring, and youth unemployment snaps upward in the UK, Canada, France, and Korea, even as overall unemployment stays low. This is the tell. When prime-age workers keep their jobs but 22-year-olds can't get hired, you're not looking at a demand problem. You're looking at the bottom of the career ladder getting amputated. The jobs AI eats first. Junior analyst, junior coder, paralegal, copywriter, customer support are exactly the jobs that turned graduates into professionals. Those jobs are evaporating. Now the obvious counter-argument, just get a degree. Educated workers always do better. That was true for 50 years. It is not true anymore. Look at unemployment specifically among workers with advanced education, the people who did everything right. Master's degrees, professional credentials, the works. In the United States, unemployment among the advanced educated has nearly doubled off its 2022 low. In Canada and France, it's climbing fast. In Korea, degree holder unemployment is now structurally higher than it was a decade ago. In an economy where 70% of young adults hold a degree, the degree premium isn't just shrinking. For the most recent graduates, it's inverting. Plumbers and electricians, jobs AI can't touch, are out-earning fresh law and CS grads in multiple cities. The shield your parents bought with tuition no longer blocks the arrow. Here's where it gets obscene. While entry-level jobs vanish and graduate unemployment climbs, the economies themselves are booming. GDP per capita growth across the US, Germany, France, and Australia roared back after 2020. Corporate profit margins are at multi-decade highs. The S&P 500 added trillions in market cap on the back of, you guessed it, AI. So the economy is generating more wealth per person than ever. The workers producing that wealth just aren't seeing it. This is the productivity pay divergence on steroids. AI isn't shrinking the pie. It's redirecting the entire growth slice to capital owners and senior employees, while the people who used to enter the workforce at the bottom of the pyramid get told to learn to prompt. Growth without jobs is not prosperity. It's extraction. The official unemployment numbers actually understate the damage, because to count as unemployed, you have to be actively looking. Watch what happens to youth labor force participation. In the US, the UK, Korea, and Japan, young people are quietly dropping out of the workforce entirely. They're not getting jobs. They're not getting counted. They're moving back home, staying in grad school they can't afford, or just disconnecting. In Korea, an entire subculture has a name for it. In the US, the share of 20 to 24-year-olds neither working nor in school is the highest in over a decade. This is what a hidden depression for the young looks like. The unemployment rate flatters reality because the most discouraged workers have already given up. But now the final piece. While entry-level jobs disappear, the supply of degree holders is exploding. Tertiary enrollment in Korea is over 100%. Australia, Canada, the US, all near record highs. Governments told a generation that the answer to automation was more education. So they took on debt, trillions of dollars of it. In the US alone, student debt has crossed $1.7 trillion. In the UK, the average graduate now leaves with over $45,000 owed. They bought the credential at peak price, right as the credential lost its power. That's the trap. Flood the market with graduates. Automate the jobs those graduates were trained for, then charge them interest while they deliver food on bikes. This is how you manufacture the highest-skilled working poor in modern history. Here's the verdict. The college degree was sold as the great equalizer for 40 years. AI just broke the math. Entry-level white-collar hiring is down roughly 25% since ChatGPT launched. Graduate unemployment is climbing across every major economy. Young workers are dropping out of the labor force entirely, and the economy is growing through all of it because the productivity gains are flowing to shareholders and senior staff, not to the 23-year-old with a philosophy degree and $60,000 in debt. This generation isn't lazy. It isn't entitled. It's the first cohort in modern history to be more educated than its parents, more indebted than its parents, and less employable than its parents. That's not a personal failure. That's a structural one. And until we admit it, we're going to keep blaming kids for a ladder somebody else set on fire. If you want the data behind the headlines, not vibes, not takes, just charts that tell you what's actually happening, subscribe. We do one of these every week, and the next one breaks down which specific jobs AI has already replaced. The numbers will surprise you.